Hello and welcome to Thirsty Thursdays with a therapist. Thanks for joining me, Jaleisha Gatling, today on Quenching the Thirst in Your Relationship. Now, today's topic is accepting the absurd. Now, I'm not talking about accepting anything dysfunctional or really toxic in the relationship, such as verbal abuse or name calling, cheating. We're not talking about those sort of things when I'm talking about acceptance. I'm talking about accepting those little quirks and annoying habits and things that kind of get under your skin where you just look at your partner like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Those things that get under your skin that are not high stakes, but can, after some time, really create a lot of tension in the relationship and contribute to conflicts around other things. So, I want to talk about acceptance, and I really like to compare it to forgiveness because we've all been taught that forgiveness is about you, not the other person, okay? I feel like acceptance is very similar. And I'm finding a lot that people often believe and kind of tell themselves that, oh, I accept this thing about my partner. I accept that they do X, Y, Z. But they claim that acceptance is simply keeping your mouth shut, biting your tongue, not saying anything about that specific thing to their partner. And I want to take it a step further because if you're going to bed upset and you're brooding over something that's happening, and you're posting passive aggressive memes on Instagram like I hate fantasy football, hashtag grow up, like that is not acceptance. Like, yeah, you're not picking a fight directly with your partner, but it's doing something to you on the inside that is not very healthy. So I want to talk about taking things a step further when you want to make space and room to accept your partner and something that they may do that kind of drives you nuts, or that you find annoying. And I want you to be curious about their experience around that. So if we're using the fantasy football league thing, say that's something that's eating up a lot of time to you. Or you just don't understand why your partner may want to partake in this for so many hours in a week rather than spend time with you or do something else more productive. You might be curious about what your partner gets out of that. Sometimes we can take things very personally, and we start to create these stories onto our partner's experience of this thing, and that's not their story. Perhaps your partner's story around that is decompressing from a crazy work week because he has a batshit crazy boss. Like, that could be a totally different experience having absolutely nothing to do with you. But if you are not curious, I don't think that you can really approach a true acceptance of something. And so I want to talk about, well, wait, I told you guys last week that I was going to share something personal with you guys. I said I was going to get a little vulnerable and share a true story with you. It's really low stakes, might even be a little silly, but I still think it's a really great example to draw on around acceptance and around being curious about your partner's experience of something. So on any given day, like 95% of the time, if you were to hang out with me in personal circumstances, you would find that I do not match my socks. If you were to look down, if you're hanging out at my place or I'm hanging out at your place and I take my shoes off, one sock is likely to be up to my knees, blue with stars and cats on it, and the other one is likely to be an ankle sock with Christmas ornaments on it. I have never matched my socks. I don't really have a good reason why. Maybe mom did something to me in my childhood. Mom, do we have something to talk about? Does this make any sense? I don't know. But all I know is that it's really interesting to hear the stories and the assumptions that people attach to that when they see that. So, I've had friends say, oh, you had a rough day. Oh, it was a rough morning. You were rushing out of the house. Or, oh, laundry day. Okay, I get it. And then after the third or fourth time, they're like, Jaleisha, that's just lazy. Like, you don't match your socks? I'm like, no, I don't really see the point in this social norm of matching my socks. Like, it does nothing for me. Most of the time, no one can see them. So who cares? I'm spending this precious time rolling up socks to match. It just doesn't make sense to me. But you could very much make a bunch of assumptions around that. I mean, I've been walking in the airport and I've gotten stares and little comments like, really? Yeah, you know what? You might look at that as lazy. You know how I look at it? I'm carefree. I'm carefree and I can wake up in the morning, close my eyes, pick out 2 socks, and whatever they are, that's what I'm wearing. And I can feel okay with that and walk just as tall and as strong if they were matching. Now, I just want to pull from that because I think so often our partner does something that maybe doesn't interest us, or they're doing the dishes in a way that just doesn't make sense, and we are not being curious about their experience around that. I think we have to make room to accept that just as well as accepting what it is that they are doing by not saying anything. So, accepting the absurd. What can you accept more of? What could you be more curious about? That's what I want you guys to take away from today's topic. And also, in speaking about acceptance, I come to find that as time goes by in a relationship, a long-term relationship, our acceptance can start to kind of go down. I mean, we all know in the honeymoon phase, you are overlooking a lot of things, and you're probably you're so fogged up with this love bug that a lot of things come to annoy you later that were happening from the very beginning. And so I want you guys to stay tuned next week for Shall We Dance, where I'm talking about the honeymoon phase and the abrupt post-honeymoon phase. I want to challenge some notions and some stories around that, and I think it really ties nicely with this acceptance piece. So we're going to keep this going. Join me next week with Shall We Dance, and I would like, in the meantime, for you guys to go to my website, www.letsunpacktherapy.com, and sign up for my newsletter, guys. I got some stuff coming up that I really want to make sure you don't miss out on, and I will see you next Thursday on Thirsty Thursdays. Bye-bye.